Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our intermediate accounting class, Accounting 58A at Mission College for this fall 2016. As you know, we are now using a brand new platform to deliver online classes. So as you'll see this screen, you will be seeing the homepage for our class in Canvas already. I will just basically use this opportunity to give you a very simple and brief navigation tour of how the class is run. In addition to that, I'll probably spend just a couple minutes reviewing the sections of the syllabus. This is part of your orientation that I would like for you to perform in the next couple of days. So hopefully you will be done and ready to go with the content of the class starting probably on Tuesday night or maybe at the latest on Wednesday morning. Again, you're now inside of the Canvas site. To log in, you would need to go through your portal account, and that will be probably a different video or a different set of instructions given to you on the college website. For now, I'll just show you that the way I set up the class is a very simple and very sort of standard way of using Canvas. You'll see that here's what I assigned as the home page, and you can also reach it using the left side navigation panel, which has all the other features. You have home. You will always be going into the announcements every day when you log in. That's the reason I say here in my first line to always read the announcements and your messages inside of your inbox, which is right there. So this is a double sort of navigation panel on the left side. This is more of global navigation, and here is the course navigation panel. So every time you log in, and I require at least 3 logins per week, once on Monday because that's when I send out the initial weekly announcement with the agenda for the week. So at least 3 logins, one on Monday, and when you do that, I would ask you to always read the announcements, always read your inbox messages, and then always maybe go into the discussion to see what's new in terms of postings from your classmates. The modules will include all of your instructions for the content of the class itself. And as you can see here, you have the first 2 already set up. I'm going to go into those in a second. Discussions, basically you can go through here through this link, but it's most likely the best approach might be to go through your modules instead. But either way would work, okay? At times, if you go too far ahead of a class, some discussions will not be activated because you have to finish certain steps before the system allows you to move forward. Collaboration is a different tool that we'll be using for possibly, at this point I'm not too sure. We have to see how this works because you will need a Google account, a Gmail account, and so we'll see how this works. We'll talk more about this at the orientation session next Saturday. Chats will be used by you mostly. I will not use chats to teach. We can use chats for reasons other than teaching and learning because it's really kind of difficult to use chat for teaching. Assignments are part of already inside of modules, so you don't really have to go to assignments directly. Again, this will be part of module. I might just move this away, but you will definitely go into my lab and mastering, or what I call as I refer to it as I call it MAL, or my accounting lab. You will definitely be going into these assignments inside of my lab as you go through the modules as well. So these 2 features here, I may take them away and just simply leave them accessible to you through the modules instead. People are just the people that are in the class. You obviously will go through syllabus and to grades to figure out what the class is about, and also to continue to monitor your grades throughout the semester. Survey is, it may be things that I ask you about throughout the quarter, throughout the semester. And so I may be using that for that purpose. But for now, I'm sort of figuring out if I need to use that or not. So now this is sort of what the home page looks like and the navigation. Let me go into the first module here, week 0, and that will be right before you begin the class basically. And as you can see, it takes you through a sequence of steps, and depending on the kind of step, you will have different kinds of steps. You have reading, which it looks like a wiki page here, or you can have things like discussion, which looks like this. And sometimes you are given what you need to do to be able to move forward in the sequence, otherwise you will not be able to move forward. So as you access each of these, you must either mark done or just simply view, or in the case of posting, sometimes you need to contribute, meaning you have to make a posting in this case. And sometimes there's points assigned to these items, and that will become part of your grade. At times you don't have to do anything specific. Notice that there's nothing in this space, but you can also use that other part of the module to maybe discuss certain things. In this case, it's a discussion, so you can actually use it for questions you might have about the orientation part. Once you do the orientation module, which is what I call here module 0, you are now ready to move forward to module 1, which is for week 1. And in week 1 will be the very first week of content coverage, will be chapter 1. And so you will have different steps as well here. And in the case of each module, you will see basically a page for the overview, mostly administrative stuff here, of the chapter. You will have some chapter lecture notes. I will go into this for now to show you what it looks like. And in this case, I will obviously do a little overview of the chapter. I'll provide you with the learning objectives, maybe some lecture notes, and some other comments. And once you're done, you're gonna basically just move forward. So going back to the module itself, the next step would be to do a reading review. And so you can do this, and this obviously is you just have to view it. It's basically a way for me to help you sort of formulate some questions that relate to the topics in the chapter, and that way you can actually get a sense of the kinds of questions you may be getting in the actual reading check itself. The reading check, which is done inside of my accounting lab, is accessed through this link. So once you go here, and there will be another video for how you do this, you will go into my accounting lab and choose RC1 or reading check for chapter 1, and then that will be part of your grade. Even though it says view here, actually it's a way you need to navigate to MAL and actually take the reading check quiz. Eventually you will also have an opportunity to ask questions. It will be part of your class participation grade, and you will do it through this chapter 1 reading discussion. Now the class participation points, which is actually quite easy to do, you will make a posting per chapter per week. So you can do this reading check, this chapter 1 reading discussion posting, or you can do the one for the homework. Either way, once you do one of these postings, you have complied with the class participation grade. In terms of the next step in the module for the chapter, in this case I get chapter 1, you also have a content page for homework, because you need to learn how to apply what you learn in your reading to problems. So if you go to this page here for problems, I'm going to provide you with an overview of what is required for the chapter in terms of the actual assigned homework items, and the ones that are actually listed with an asterisk are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on most of my effort on. And so my lecture notes and what I call my homework notes and my homework demos, if any, there's none for chapter 1, would be placed here in on these tabs. Notice one other thing that I forgot to mention here is that to move across the tabs, you need to obviously click on the tabs themselves. to move from page to page, you will use the previous or the next buttons down here. Let me go back to the module. Once you're done with review of the problems inside of the homework 1 or the homework review pages, then you're ready to take the homework 1 inside of MAU again. So you took a reading check for testing your understanding of the topics in your reading. You will also take a homework check, basically a homework problem sort of quiz inside of MAU, and that will be basically reflecting the kind of the same things, the same problems that you saw in here in the assignments. The ones that actually have the asterisk are going to be the same ones that are going to be fed to you inside of the my homework 1 in MAU. Obviously, there will be different numbers, but it will be the very same problems. And finally, you have a review section in the module that will give you sort of a summary and maybe a preview to the following week. That's the setup of each module for each week. Going back to our orientation here on top, I will go back to home, and I will show you that you also have to get very familiar with the syllabus. And so I'm going to either access the syllabus through here or through there, through the panel or through the home page. I'm going to just do this through here at the moment. And very briefly, there is a section on how to contact me, mostly the standard sort of ways to do this. You can either use my email address for West Valley Mission, and that's probably the one you need to use. In case for whatever reason you need a secondary email address, I'm always available at Foothill. And this one I check basically several times a day. This one I check once a day, most likely. The office hours will be held inside of our website, so use your inbox for private messages if you have questions, or use discussions to ask questions about the content of each of the chapters within each of the modules. There's going to be a required meeting, or actually 2 required meetings for this class. As you know already, there will be an orientation meeting this coming Saturday on the 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon in the Gilmore Center building, room 320. There will also be a final exam in person, same building, same classroom from 10 to 12 in the morning on December 17th. So you need to make sure that you can make that date. There will be no changes to that date. That is fixed by the college. Other sections with respect to the syllabus are the course description. As you know, you needed to have taken at least Accounting 1A. Although that's the case, there are actually 3 chapters from Accounting 1B that you will need to have covered to take Accounting 58B. So it will be equity, cash flows, and financial statement analysis. So you should probably review some of that content at some point before you take 58B. Here are the learning outcomes. Here's a course outline for this class. You will see you have chapter 1 through 4, and then the midterm, midterm 1, then chapters 5 through 7, that will be midterm 2. Then you have chapters 8 through 10, midterm 3, and the last 3 chapters are part of the final exam. There's also a team project. So we keep going forward. I'm going to come back to the textbook in a second. You will see that there's a section here that explains in detail that required graded components, and again, as I said before, you need to log in 3 times a week, so that's 15. I'll say just 15 weeks for now. Times 3, that's 45 logins. That will earn you 5% of the class. Class participation will be 1 posting per week per chapter. That means each time you're going to be earning a little piece of those 5 weighted points for your final grade. So in total, logins, attendance, or postings, class participation is about 10% of the class. You need to also do a check-in, and that's part of your orientation module that has no points, but you have to do that to be able to stay in the class. there are going to be 15 reading checks, actually 13 reading checks, and from those, only 10 will count. The 3 lowest will be dropped automatically. You don't have to do anything with this. Each reading check is unlimited time. You can take it up 3 times, and once you score whatever you score, that's weighted against 1 point per. So 1 point per the 10 scores that will be counted is 10% of the grade. Homework, similar approach. 13 homeworks, 3 are dropped, unlimited time, 3 takes per question or per problem in the homework, and each of these homeworks that count are going to be 2 points, so homeworks is 20% of your grade. Midterm exams are 3 of them, as I mentioned before, 10 points each, that's 30% of your grade. Your final exam, which is comprehensive in terms of theory, is actually covering only chapters 11 through 13 in terms of problems. That's going to be 20% of your grade, and there will be a minor project, team project at the end or through the latter part of the semester. That's 10% of the grade. There are other things here that you should probably read about to make sure that you know when to drop if you want to drop. You must drop at the appropriate time. You do it. I cannot do it. Actually, I can do it at a certain point, but I cannot do it afterwards. So you make sure that you will read this part about dropping. There's other things that you need to read about the syllabus. I'm just going to focus now on the last part here, the class calendar. The way I have this set up is by week. So for example, week 1, we start that on Monday 8/29 or August 29. Week 2 starts on Monday 9/5 or September 5th. And I give you what's the coverage under the topic column, what's the actual assignment for each of those parts of the grade, when they're due, and then some comments. So if you look at the first week, you need to submit a reading check 1 after you do all your reading. You also have to submit your homework 1 in both in MAL, and in this case, in terms of the homework, all the brief exercises or BEs are required, as well as the exercises, which are the E's, 1 meaning chapter 1, 3, and 5. So only 2 exercises from chapter 1 and all the BEs are required for the homework. Attendance, 3 of them, as we said before, and 1 posting. So here you always have listed what are your actual assignments. You will see that whenever I announce your weekly agenda, it will be the very same thing as you see in the calendar. The calendar always is the main controlling document for all your deadlines, regardless of what other things are saying. Keep that in mind. And the rest of this calendar has what I just mentioned before. It has all the dates and all the assignments, so review that as well. Lastly, I'm going to just focus on the textbook. For our class, you will need to buy the Gordon Reedy Zanella textbook. It's Pearson. Here's the ISBN. It will be bundled with a 16-digit access code to use MAL, or My Accounting Lab. You will need both a code, a course key code that comes from My Lab, along with the access code. So here is your course key, and then the textbook you buy at the bookstore at Mission will have the access code. So both of these you will need to be able to actually add to the section in MAL to be able to take all those tests inside of MAL. Note that MAL is actually a very robust tool. It has many different tools. It's not just simply testing. It has videos, and it has other resources that you will find very handy, including PowerPoint slides, flashcards, and so on and so on. If the case that you might need, and this is actually very rare, but in case you might need standalone MAL because somehow you got the book from somebody else and you don't need to buy the actual book itself, you do have an option here to purchase the standalone MAL if you wish for less money. But that's talk to me about this at the orientation. We talk about it more at that point. And lastly, I will say that there is a 14-day um, temporary access um, option when you go and register to use my accounting lab. By the way, you need to do this through the link inside of Canvas. You cannot do it outside. You cannot do it directly with the going to my accounting lab outside of the class. You have to do it through our Canvas link, or it won't work. In any case, you are able to use if you don't have the money right away, a 14-day temporary access option, and so it gives you about 14 days to work on the assignments without falling behind in the class, and then you will need to buy my accounting lab, and at that point you'll be fine. You'll be in line with the rest of the class. So hope this is helpful. If you have any questions regarding the setup of the class, again, you can use this orientation Q&A discussion to actually ask those questions. Or if you have some private questions, you can use my inbox to ask those questions. Good luck. Take care.